You've gone past number 3, haven't you?
Yeah.
We've got to go back to number 3 because number 3.
Yeah, it was whether or why Wigmore Valley Park had not been put on the Register of Assets of Community Value.
Well, this is a big issue now because I can go into it a little bit later when we go into any other business. These AVCs, right, were put in by 2 parish councils, right, and they were put in as because I was coordinating with them, was put in to stop the airport being buying the Wigmore Park for like £1 off the council, because if they did that, then the parish councils could pay £1 and take over the park, which obviously they never would do. But it acts as a delaying tactic. Now, there's a draft agreement come out between the airport, the council, and London Luton Airport Operations Limited. So it's a deed that's, I think, still being worked on, because on the second draft at the moment, it'll go to a third draft. But in there, it talks about Wigmore Park being owned by London Luton Airport. But it can't be owned by London Luton Airport because it was owned by the council. And if it's owned by London Luton Airport, the parish council have got a right to put a bid in for it.
It's the Luton Borough Council area.
Sorry?
It is a Luton Borough Council area.
Yeah,
it isn't owned by any other people than the Borough Council.
Well, in this draft agreement, of course I'll come back later, which is it's a deed between London Luton Airport, say the council, and London Luton Airport Operations Limited. It says in that document that the Wigmore Park, subject to contract, or subject to, I think subject to be confirmed, is owned by the airport.
Well, I think that should be challenged.
Well, that's exactly. This is what I want to find out from the start, whether the asset of community value had actually been passed, as in like registered. And I've asked 3 times of this. I wrote to the council twice. I asked David Franks. I've never had a reply, so I've got no idea whether the ABCs were registered on the land registry.
Which ACVs are you asking about? The one is obviously Wigmore Valley Park.
There's 2 on them. There's 2 for the same park.
One's King's Warden, isn't it?
One's been put in by King's Warden and one's been put in by Offley, because you can put ABCs in a neighbouring borough, if you like. So they're the only 2 people who could put them in, right? And they both put them in. Now, as far as I'm aware, right, they were both registered, as in how it's communicated to these parish councils. But when you look on the council website under ABCs, right, it's got a big list of which ones are places that are registered, and Wigmore Park doesn't appear on that list.
Okay, and who have you asked, Jeff?
Last person I asked was David Franks. Right, asked him to look into it, and that was maybe 9 months ago. But I wrote to the council twice, and don't ask me who I wrote to. It might be, I think I wrote to the people in the link, because there's a link about applying for an AVC. I've emailed them, I think, at least twice now, asking about these AVCs on Wigmore Park. I've never had a reply. They should be sitting there on the land registry.
It's worth, can I just say, it's worth having a word with Dave Franks again. He got Barnfield playing fields put on the AVC list, but it took about a year for them to register it.
Yeah.
It took ages there. So it's really checking whether it's in the pipeline, and they're just taking ages to do it.
But these were put in probably
some time ago.
2 years ago.
Oh, 2 years ago.
Yeah.
Yeah, we have a solicitors department time.
And it doesn't appear on the list. It doesn't appear on the list as being rejected or accepted, because there's 2 lists. There's only one place that's ever been rejected, and that was in Marsh Farm. And all the other ones, like Bowls Clubs and Rain and Way, for instance, that's on this list of ones that have been approved. There's nothing documented for Wigmore Valley Park.
Do you know if the parish councils have had it in any of the meetings of their minutes?
Well, I emailed Joe
Graziano.
He thought
it was done, didn't he?
He thinks it's been done. I had an email, and he's going to ask the I don't know who's going to ask somebody at their local parish, because he was told that it's all gone through, right? But whether it has all gone through, I don't know. I'll be a lot more reassured if it appears on some council document that it's been registered.
Yeah.
Can I just say it was helpful that the person who deals with assets of community value is Mark Davie, Davie.
Davie. Mark, yeah.
Mark Davie. His direct phone number is 54 63 42.
I'll give him a ring tomorrow.
Yeah, he deals with them now.
Okay, I'll give him a ring. Because there's something fishy going on here. Because I say in this document, it said the land is owned by the airport.
Yeah,
I don't believe that land is owned by the airport. As far as I can remember, Jeff, it was owned by Luton Borough Council.
Well, it was. Right.
But the airport had to get a licence to be on it.
Yeah, it's a lease, wasn't
They
it?
can't give a licence to themselves.
Oh, yes, they can.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In that document you've got, does it say London Luton Airport Limited or London Luton Airport Operations Limited?
It's got both listed.
It's got both of them listed.
It says here, right, this is the deed pursuant of section 106 of the Town and Country Planning Act 1990 in support of the planning application reference blah 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 relation to new Century Park. Right, in the second page it's got on the first page it's between number 1, 2 and 3. 1 is Luton Borough Council and London Luton Airport Limited and London Luton Airport Operations Limited. I don't even know why London Luton Airport Operations are even part of it, because that's part of the concession agreement.
Exactly, and that's what. Because when I thought you said operations, because that is the biggest concern. Is why is the concession agreement company involved in it? I can see. I don't agree, but I can see the logic between the council's airport company.
Yeah. But it says here, right, this is 1, 2, and this is the definition of 1, 2 and 3. Number 1, Luton Borough Council, blah blah blah, in brackets, council. Number 2, London Luton Airport Limited, company number, blah blah blah, in brackets, the owner. Right, number 3, London Luton Airport Operations Limited, the airport.
Yes.
Right, it then goes into 18 pages of, I can't get my head around it, to be honest. But we'll cover some of that a little bit later. But also on that, well, I might as well bring it up now, but also on that draft agreement, and I emailed Lawrence about this today, is £30,000 or £35,000 is going to be spent on Raynham Way Park, or the swings and roundabouts, to help push this through. I think this is in lieu of actually spending money on Wigmore Park to upgrade the swings there.
I thought that was already part of, because that's been part of their proposals for some considerable time. Was the upgrade that was their bribe, wasn't it?
It was indeed.
To the play equipment on Wigmore Valley Park itself.
I think, reading between the lines, I think what the intention is that if they spend £35,000 on Raynham Way, right, to improve their equipment, that gives them the right to, in theory, start doing work on Century Park, because they've upgraded the play facilities somewhere.
Well, part of the agreement was that they've got to get a new park up and running before they touch Wigmore Valley Park.
What I would do off this meeting, I will send this draft to my 3 local councillors and see if you can get your head around it, because at the moment I've been looking at it one day and I've already got past the second and third page. It says where the money's going to be spent, sort of different aspects. They'll plant so many trees, but not in this area. It seems to be in other places.
Yeah, there's no trees being on the new park.
Biodiversity contributions to some of the £80,000.
They mention Dallow Downs, don't they?
Dallow Downs,
as
yeah.
being
Yes, the birds have to migrate back to Dallow. Yeah, they're not allowed to be anywhere near Wigmore anymore.
Yeah. That's county wildlife.
As far as
So, as far as I'm concerned, some dodgy deeds taking place. I'll send this document to, I say, the 3 councillors and they can look over it.
Oh, thank you, Jeff.
Yeah, thank you, Jeff.
I'm reading.
Yes, this is the second draft, because I listened into the London Luton Airport Consultative Committee meeting yesterday, and this came up in the meeting, right? They said this is the second draft, but the solicitors aren't quite happy yet. There's going to be a third version of this. So there's maybe a couple of subtle alterations, but basically it'll be this with a couple of alterations. But yeah, okay.
Right. I'm just looking at trying to. Some of these actions were stuff that we dealt with. Something it looks to do with on the website, phone masks. There's nothing new as far as I'm aware on the Lulliford Road parking.
There is actually, because when this was put through, this went through in a vote last February, and if you can remember, the airport directors voted on this plan, right, because we wanted the airport or London Luton Airport operations to fund the parking scheme for, so I'm now talking about...
No, he didn't. No, I'm sorry, he didn't.
So what?
He didn't want the finance. They refused to accept the finance. I put a motion through council asking them to finance. And
yeah, it was rejected, but the airport directors helped vote it down.
Sorry?
The airport directors helped vote it down.
They did.
Right. Well, I put a complaint in to the council about them voting it down. Right, it's a stage 1 complaint, right? Because I said the airport directors should be voted on anything to do with the airport, right? Particularly like financial matters. But it's gone now to, because I've heard nothing for the last 9 months. And I wanted it to go to the Standards Committee. So, Diane, did this ever go to the Standards Committee about airport councillors voting on airport matters?
No.
Right, because it's now 9 months into it, I've still heard nothing. So I wrote to the ombudsman, the local government ombudsman, and they wrote back yesterday. I wrote back this morning to say that the airport, the council, sorry, are still dealing